Good afternoon. It is 2 o'clock Eastern Time, Thursday, August 3rd. Hope everybody's doing great this afternoon or whenever you are listening to this webinar. I'm going to talk to you briefly about Reiki. Some of you might know a little bit about it. Maybe you don't know anything about it. So I'm going to start with what it is and what it isn't. Let me just tell you a little bit about myself and how I fit into this picture with Reiki. I have been a postpartum doula since 1991. I've been a trainer, and in the last 5 years, I discovered Reiki. I knew about it, probably in the 90s, but I wasn't ready for it. I kind of thought it was a little hokey, and somebody, actually a postpartum doula that I knew then that worked for me had told me about it, and I really just thought it was kind of weird, honestly. So anyhow, yeah, that's when I first learned about Reiki. So let me just set this up. So hold on. Okay, there we go. So anyhow, that's when I first was introduced to Reiki in the 90s, and I didn't know anything about it until about 5 years ago. I started practicing. I took a Reiki 1 class from a master that lives in my community, and I have been practicing for the last 5 years and recently became a master, which simply means that I can teach the Reiki course and attune people, which is basically passing on the Reiki energy. So I'll get started with a little bit more about what Reiki is and isn't. Okay, so this is what I believe. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, which is why sometimes it gets rough. So what does it mean to be spiritual? It means different things to different people, but basically Reiki is about energy. It is energy. And if you look at things from that perspective, then you understand that this body that we reside in is our clothing. And, you know, when you turn us all inside out, we're actually all the same. So this is just a quote that I love and actually say often and think about often when I'm having those human struggles like we all do. So Reiki is actually a practice, and it has often been thought of as a spiritual practice. So there are many benefits to Reiki. So those include what you see here: balancing your body, reducing stress. The thing about Reiki and why I am introducing it to doulas, although there are some doulas that practice Reiki and know all about Reiki, but I feel like it's still somewhat foreign. It's not really on the radar. But one of the main things about Reiki is the fact that it's always safe. There is no interference with other medical practices, with any medications, or really anything that anybody is doing in terms of healing or simply reducing stress in their lives. So whatever it is that you're doing now, Reiki does not interfere with that. And that is why I feel like it's a beautiful thing for doulas, or birth doulas, and for postpartum doulas. Why not? Why would you not want to support yourself and your clients in balancing the energy in your body, and therefore bringing that to the mix, to your clients, to your family, to everybody around you? Okay, so what is it? What exactly is Reiki? So it has many names, and we like to call it the universal life force energy, which has different names in different languages. So you might have heard of chi, prana, you hear a lot of times in yoga, or ki. So you can hear this by many different names, but it is basically the energy that is in us and among us and around us. We can't see it. But the question would be, just because you can't see it, does that mean it's not real? So I would tell you that I have been in my practice, I hear so many amazing experiences from people, and I don't know what it is. I'm a master. Do I really know? I just know that it works and that it can be passed on, and it's a beautiful lifetime practice. So really it is something that you learn, but it's really that you practice it. So it's not your typical class when you take a Reiki 1 class. Yeah, there's some things to learn about it, but it's self-exploration, and everybody comes to the class in a different mindset or from a different space. So it is really a lifetime practice for yourself and to practice on other people and to share and to give and receive. And it is for your body, mind, and spirit, because again, it's balancing that energy in the body. And it's not invasive. There's no harm in Reiki, which is what I love about it. You don't have to worry about doing something wrong. Okay, so you may have heard some things about Reiki. You may not have. I don't know where you're at when you're starting to get into this learning about Reiki. So again, I thought it was kind of hokey. I really didn't know what to make of it at first, but it's definitely not a religion. And there's no instant healing. I mean, people do have experiences of feeling better and sharing pains that go away and that kind of stuff, but there's no promise to instantly heal. It's not massage or acupuncture or any kind of physical manipulation. So really it's a light touch or a hover. So you may not even really touch anybody when you're doing the Reiki. So it's really about that energy that we cannot see. It's not magic, it's not voodoo, and it does not replace any medical care. Again, I can't emphasize this enough, especially as doulas. We do not want to be claiming that we have any medical knowledge, capability, healing, that we're prescribing anything at all. So if Reiki feels good, it's not invasive, it works, and people have amazing experiences with reducing stress. If that alone, why not use it? Why not learn it? Why not pass it on? So that's where I'm at with my Reiki practice. Okay, and all of this that I'm going over, this is really just an intro, just a little bit of a peek into Reiki, because when we do the class, I get more involved in everything that I'm sharing right here. So who discovered Reiki? And really, it's been around since before Mikao Usui, but he reintroduced Reiki in the mid-19th century, and he really wanted to find out about this hands-on healing that he'd heard about and that his students were inquiring about from the Bible. And he went on a personal quest and journey, and I will get more into that in the Reiki 1 class. But he is the one that's responsible for introducing or reintroducing Reiki that we see now in the Western world, where we do have a lot of Reiki practitioners and masters and people that are handing down the practice, and many great stories and benefits from practicing Reiki and from giving and receiving Reiki. Okay, so you're a doula. So why Reiki for doulas? First, I do want to say that there is not a lot of information, or I should say from a research standpoint, there is a gathering of information, and what I've discovered is most of the research has been done with before and after surgery. So that would come into play in birth in terms of cesarean section. And you see I have a link at the bottom. I wrote a blog post on this recently, and I did link to some of those studies. So I know as doulas we want to be current and evidence-based. And you will find some studies there on pre and post surgery and pain and reduction in stress in terms of lowering blood pressure and things like that. So we can bring this balance to birth during pregnancy, labor, and what I'm now calling the parent moon. That word probably exists somewhere. The baby moon, the parent moon. But becoming parents and all the stress that could go along with that. So if you are a practicing doula, you know how stressful things can get for you and for your clients. And so what a beautiful way to de-stress, for you to do that for yourself and to come into this space in a less stressed capacity, and to be able to offer that to your clients at any given time with no concern for any harm done. So you can see here I have a picture of all the non-medical comfort measures that we tend to use as doulas, and a lot of stuff and things, and some of them great, for sure, gives us relief, and they can be very practical in their use. So why not Reiki, where you just have it within you and you get to share it, and you don't have to put it in a bag or a suitcase. So also for me, since I've been on this inner journey of self-discovery and finding out what really makes me tick and what floats my boat and what creates passion for me, I know that Reiki is along with that. So it really is an experience for yourself, and then you get to share that. But it goes along with whatever spiritual quest you're on, wherever you're at with your seeking, and it's a way for you to connect with yourself. And it is a lifetime practice. So I want to again emphasize the fact that there are not a ton of research studies on Reiki, but there are some. And if you go to that blog post you see at the bottom, I have linked to one of the Reiki centers where I did find actually one on cesarean, and really about the pain relief and vital signs. So there's a lot of promise for more research, and there's clear connections with bringing the body back to balance with the surgeries. And there's a lot of studies on that, hospital studies that are on that site that you can link to. So it's worth exploring for yourself, whether it's now or for the future. Or perhaps you want to receive a Reiki treatment. See who's doing Reiki in your area. I might be able to plug you in, just depends where. I'm pretty much plugged in Florida, but I know people, so we might be able to get you plugged in for a Reiki session. Okay, so really the main thing that I'd like to emphasize here today is that if you are at all curious and you want to know more about Reiki, do some exploring by all means. Be sure that you're on a site that doesn't offer an online class, because it's really impossible to take a class online. Part of the class is being attuned, which is a physical process between the master and the student. So that is something I do in the class. So I do have 2 courses coming up, and one of them is in Aventura, Florida. The other one's in Jacksonville. You see here on the screen now. I've got the dates listed for you. And the class runs for 2 days. It could be done in 1 day, but because the attunements take a little bit of time and they're individual, I'm going to do it in 2 days with a break. So it's a very leisurely class in the sense that we're not crammed a bunch of stuff into a long day. But I will provide you with some written materials. We'll have some time for discussion, meditation, and of course hands-on practice. And I will be your mentor for your first 21-day journey, which is part of becoming a Reiki 1 practitioner. I will go into detail in the class with that. I am available for questions after you watch this, and you do have any questions. I don't see that there's any questions at the current time. And so we will, sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. Hello. Okay, so yeah, if you have any questions, hey, I'm still learning this technology. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, but hopefully this is all recording so those that aren't here can watch it later. But what I would like you to do is email me if you have any questions, call me. We'll speak to you about anything. If you have questions before you want to go ahead and pay for a class. By the way, I'm keeping these courses to 4 people, maybe 6 at the most. It's better that way. And I will share everything I just basically said in this short presentation, but much more elaborated, and of course the hands-on, and it's really fun. So I hope you can join. I want to answer your questions. If you're very interested and you do want to register for this class, I am taking another $25 off, which would bring it to $125. If you have seen this webinar, then that offer will be available until midnight tomorrow for the $125. So you can go ahead and shoot me an email. I do have everybody's information, and this will be available for you to watch and register through tonight and tomorrow. And I look forward to speaking to you more about Reiki and what it is, and seeing you in a class, whether it's this month or at a future date. Just to let you know, I will be traveling. I will soon be on the road full time, and I will be able to set up courses local to you and or Reiki sessions as well. So that's something to keep in mind, and I'll be sharing about that down the road. So I thank you for watching and listening, actually. I'm so glad it wasn't on video for me, because I'm a little more relaxed without the video. Yeah, got to get used to that though. Anyhow, you all have a beautiful day, evening, afternoon, wherever you're at. And please reach out if you want to find out more about Reiki, you want to learn a little bit more about me and anything else I'm up to. And you have a great day. Bye.